Tuesday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And today is officially the last day of April, so it is appropriate to tell you what I read in April. So I managed to read 8 books, which is pretty good. And I gotta say that this was probably one of the best months of reading that I had. There was like 3 5 stars, which I'll get into. There's 3 3 stars and 2 4 stars. So, little bit of half and half. So, if you've seen my reading wrap-ups, you know how I do it. I do it in the order that I read them. So let's go ahead and kick this puppy off with the first book I completed in April, The Plinko Bounce by Martin Clark. I read this on Audible and I rated it 3 stars. So this was a legal thriller that focused on a high-profile murder case, and this lawyer was trying to prove to the court that the guy who did the crime was innocent. This one was okay, kind of forgettable, so that was The Plinko Bounce. Next up was my first Kindle read, and it is Stay Out of the Tub by D.W. Hitz, and this is book 2 in Custer Falls Extreme Horror Collection. And I read this on my Kindle, like I said, and this was my first 5-star read. This book was bonkers, and it got a little rough in the end. It's extreme horror, so what do you expect? So, this acted as like a ghost story in a way. But it was about like this family who moved into like this new house. Sound familiar? And they inherit this mysterious bathtub that has that has a sinister past. An old lady passed away in that bathtub, and she haunted the house, and she possessed the mother and father. And not to mention, the mother and father like really got down on people, if you know what I mean. So she ended up being like a horny old bathtub ghost thing. But I enjoyed this one. Very, very gory, but it was a very fun read, I guess. So that was Stay Out of the Tub by D.W. Hitz. Next up is my first physical read. I actually read more than one this month. Yippee. So let's see what I got. The first physical read is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And obvious 5 stars. I love this book. It is my favorite read of the year so far. And this had a really kick-ass premise. It was just about like these 2 men on the path of vengeance after the death of their 2 gay sons. So they literally go after this biker gang, and they just go out in a blaze of glory. This is very heartbreaking, very brutal, and it's got a very great prose. I mean, I could not put this thing down. It was that good. Hollywood, could you make this into a movie, please? Because I would totally see this as a movie. But a great revenge thriller. That was Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Next up is my next Audible read. This is called The Last Yakuza, Life and Death in the Japanese Underground by Jake Adelstein. And I gave this 3 stars. This, to me, really didn't feel like nonfiction, but it was just about like the history of the Yakuza, and it focused on a crime boss by the name of Makoto Saigo, which had a nickname of Tsunami. So Jake Adelstein was kind of like a journalist, and I guess he just spent time with the Yakuza, and that's how this book came about. I just thought it was But I did have this in my TBR in March. I just didn't get to it, so knocked it out in April. Moving on. The next book I completed was also on Audible, and it was my last Audible read of April. Puzzle House by Duncan Ralston. And I rated this 4 stars. This was part of Books of Horror Indie Brawl, and you can say that I completed 2 out of 32. But this was kind of like Duncan Ralston's version of Saw in a way. But it was more of like an escape room. So these 6 strangers wake up in this mysterious house, and they just have to like go through these tasks to fight to survive. Decent story all the way out, or all the way through, but the ending to me got very fantastical. It just went very supernatural, like demons coming up from hell and other horrific atrocities. But I did enjoy the story overall. So that was Puzzle House. The next Kindle book I completed was my last 5-star read of this month. Or I mean, it might quite possibly be my favorite horror novel that I read so far this year. Night of the Prowler by John Athen. This was intense. So this is kind of like a 90s throwback slasher. And this took place all in the course of one night. And a deranged psychopath escaped from like a mental institution, and he was just on like a murderous rampage until he came across a gas station clerk by the name of Zoe Doyle, who literally looked like his daughter that he killed brutally. Eugene Hodges is a villain that will definitely not leave my mind anytime soon. This dude was insane, and I loved this novel. Even though I feel like I shouldn't have like read any of it, there are some very graphic kills in here. So go into that knowing that. But this was my second John Athen book, and I gotta say, he is quickly becoming one of my new favorite extreme horror authors. Hell, I even picked out one to possibly read in May, but y'all saw that in the video that I posted yesterday. But great book, but very messed up. That was Night of the Prowler by John Athen. Next up, Tribesmen by Adam Caesar. And I completed this a couple days ago. And this is an homage to Cannibal Holocaust and 80s video nasties. So this was about a film crew who went to the South American jungles, and they literally wanted to recreate Cannibal Fury atrocity, which is their version of Cannibal Holocaust. Turns out the film crew went insane, and this turned out to be kind of like a slasher. To me, this was good, but I was waiting for actual cannibals. You didn't really get that, but I did enjoy the story quite a bit. It is very slow, but I would say the last half really picked up nicely. So I rated this 4 stars. And I was originally going to read this on my Kindle, but I would have rather have read it like this. So that's Tribesmen by Adam Caesar. And the final book that I completed in April was on my Kindle. This is Thirsty by Chuck Nasty. And this was a very short novella that dealt with this mysterious, and y'all are gonna laugh at me, it dealt with this mysterious soda machine in the middle of the woods. But this soda machine had very dark intentions. It was controlled by a psychopath living in a shed in the woods. Very cool premise, but I wanted more gore. I don't know what that says about me, but this ended up being just okay to me. It really went balls to the wall near the end though. But to me, the ending felt very rushed. But I rated this 3 stars. Good story, but it could have been better. So, those are the 8 books that I completed in April. So, hope you guys enjoyed. And later tonight, I will bring you guys my movies I watched in April. So stay tuned for that. And coming up near the weekend, I'll have Tarot and The Fall Guy to review. So definitely can't wait for both of those. And we are finally in May. Yay. I did not intend that to happen, but there you go. But that's all I got for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios. Peace.